right now because we're tired. Yeah, we just waiting for a door right now. Let me get a little lower. Sorry, you guys can see me better. Yeah, we're just waiting for a door right now. We're about to get unloaded. I figured, why not make a video, right? And yeah, before I get into this video, what's good, YouTube family? We are back with another video. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, we about to get unloaded right here. We out here in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, to be specific. And we had the receiver. We're about to get unloaded, and I got some time in my hands, so I was like, why not make a video? This video has been overdue. I've been wanting to make this video for the last couple months. That footage that you guys saw right there in the beginning that I posted, I took that footage like a couple months ago. I mean, that was like my last time at the home terminal. That's actually the night transportation home terminal. Like that's sort of the main corporate office, because they're actually located in Arizona. And that thing was nice. I mean, out of all like terminals I've seen, like from the companies I've worked at, and just in general with like night transport, because I've been to a couple of night transportation terminals, and then obviously the previous companies I've been to their terminals, and I'm gonna say by far that was the best terminal I've seen in some time. I know there are better terminals out there. If you're truckers out there, you guys, you could write down, comment below what terminals you think are better than the one I just posted. But I mean, shoot, basketball court, you saw there was a bowling alley, they had a gaming center. I mean, what else they had? Bro, they had everything. I mean, the cafeteria, they had literally everything. The gym could have been a little bit better. You would think they would, they have a basketball gym that size, they could have got a bigger gym. But I mean, if that's your route and you're always going to Arizona or you're in that area, which is what I was doing. I was usually in that tri-state area. I was always delivering like Arizona, California, Nevada. Sometimes it would send me to Colorado, but I was always in that area. So if you're in that area and that's where you get to like take your resets and stuff, that's a nice terminal to reset. I'm not complaining. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it like a 8.5 or a 9. It was almost a 10. But anywho, I'm gonna get right into this video, because the reason why you guys are probably watching this video is because y'all want to know. You're probably looking around. If you're a new trucker, you're probably looking for a company to work for, and you're looking into night transportation. And yeah, I'm gonna give you the tea. I've been with them for about a year now, and yeah, I'm gonna give you guys the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole 9 yards, from the beginning when I spoke to a recruiter to I'm gonna not say the end, but I am on my way out. Nothing bad. Just you gotta know when you gotta know when it's time to exit stage left, and it's about my time to exit stage left. So that's why I'm making this video, because I'm on my way out. I'm in talks. I guess like you can say in sports language, my contract is up. I'm a free agent. I'm gonna be a free agent soon. I'm testing the free agency waters. And yeah, there are a few companies that I'm talking to right now that yeah, we'll leave it at that. That will be another video. If you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on TikTok, you follow me on my other platforms, socials or whatever, you probably already know what company I'm probably going to. But we'll leave it at that. If you don't, no worries. Just watch my previous videos or follow me on my socials and you'll probably see that. But yeah, not to get sidetracked. Yeah, we're going to talk about night transportation, the full experience, the experience at night transportation. Should you work at night transportation? I'm going to give you that answer. And again, everything I'm saying is my opinion, my experience personally. Some people could have had, worse experiences. Some people could have had better experiences than me. I'm just giving you my personal viewpoint, because I was there for a year, and it's based off of my experience. So, you may have a better experience if you go to night transportation, or you may have a worse experience, right? Everybody has a different experience, right? So this was just based off of my experience at night transportation and my opinion. So this video is not like set in stone as facts, like, oh my gosh, no, like I'm just stating my opinion and my experience. So I want to make sure I put that out there. And I think I've said that in my previous videos, because I make videos like this for every company I work at. If you look at all my videos, I've made a video like this for Warner Enterprises, the last company before I came tonight. That's where I was at, Warner Enterprises. And I also made a video for CR England. And in those two videos, I see the same thing. I may have not said this exact thing, but I want to make sure I state that, because yeah, some people will be like, oh, no, I'm not trying to badmouth or I'm just giving you my personal experience. So, because I know it's hard to, just go out here and find the right company, and there's rookies out here, or people that are coming out of CDL school that may be looking for a good company to work for right out of school, because it is hard to find a good company to work for as a trucker, because most trucking companies, as you guys may already know, if you don't know, once you get out of trucking school, your options are really limited. A lot of these good trucking companies that pay good money, or are the really good companies, are not going to hire you right out of school. It's these mega carriers like Swift, Warner Enterprises, Knight Transportation, CR England, Martin, all these companies, the list goes on. These companies will take you on, but they won't, you're obviously going to deal with the shenanigans that comes with it. And I'm not going to, I'm going to go into detail. So anyways, let's get to the video. You take a little sip of my C4 Performance. This stuff right here is fire. If you haven't had it, oh, that's what I drink. C4 and Ghost energy drinks. Those are my go-tos right there. Red Bull is like a good third place. Let's start with recruiting. Like when you call them up, and they talk to you, they try to sell you on the whole opportunity of becoming a driver. Like, they're right, typical recruiter. They're gonna give you all the, oh yeah, this and that and the third, like they're a great company, blah 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 blah. Sell you on it. Like I said, I'm used to dealing with mega carriers and the recruiters, so I already know what to ask and what to expect. I just told me, just get me signed up, and let me get me into orientation, right? Because usually orientation is about what, it's about a week. Some orientations are 3 days, some are a week. For Knight Transportation, at the location I was at, because I was out of Las Vegas, and the reason why, okay, let me go backtrack. The reason why I did go to Knight Transportation and I left Warner Enterprises is because I moved from LA, Los Angeles, to Las Vegas, Nevada. So I moved from Los Angeles, California to Las Vegas, Nevada. And unfortunately, Warner Enterprises did not, I talked about this in my previous video about Warner Enterprises, why I left there. They were a great company. I just left because they didn't have any opportunities out of Vegas where I could be home weekly, right? So that's why I left, unfortunately. So when I was looking for companies out in Vegas, Knight Transportation was one of the terminals. I saw the terminal right there by my house. And I was like, why not? So I called the recruiter. They got me into orientation. And I was in orientation within that following Monday. So I got into orientation. It was actually a 3-day orientation, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're supposed to get if everything goes well, you get your truck assignment like that same week. And the reason why that was the situation for me is because I was they consider advanced driver, right? I wasn't a brand new driver. If you're a brand new driver, you're just getting your CDL out of CDL school, or you're trucking school, all that stuff, and you don't have any experience, OTR or nothing, over the road by yourself, they're gonna put you on the road with somebody for like another week or two before they give you a truck. Obviously, that was not the case for me, because I've been on the road. That's my I'm pushing my 3rd year right now in trucking. So yeah, they wanted to make sure, first day, they go over the basics, the company stuff. They make you sign all the paperwork. They go over your ID information, blah blah blah. You already know how that works. Second day, they go over like the history of the company, the guidelines, the rules, all that, blah blah blah, the boring stuff. And then they also test you on your skills, right? They let me go out in the yard and drive, park, blah blah blah, take you on the road, and then after that they take you on the freeway. And then if you pass all that, you come back, you park the truck and the trailer, and if everything goes well, you didn't hit nobody, you didn't hit nothing, and you followed all the guidelines, you did a good pre-trip, they pass you, right? So they do that, and on the 3rd day, it's like a half day. They go through some stuff, and then they give you a date, or they tell you to come back and the following day on Thursday to get your truck. Unfortunately for me, I think it was like during like a holiday. I think it was like, I don't know if it was Memorial Day or I don't know. It was some holiday. So unfortunately, they couldn't give me my truck that week. I had to come back the following Monday. I don't know. It was some weird shit, right? Regardless, you get your truck and your keys on that 4th day, or 4th day. So that was recruiting and orientation, right? I got notes. I gotta look at my notes to make sure I'm going over everything, because if not, I forget to go over stuff. So then, they assigned me my truck. I got I was on the port fleet. Okay, there we go. So they had a dedicated fleet too. That's why I liked working there. They had a port fleet, right, where you work in the port. So I would just take containers from Vegas back to Long Beach, right? And then from Long Beach, you drop that container, you swap for another one, and then you take that right back to Vegas. And I was home either every night or every other night. If it wasn't the same day, it's because either I was delayed at the port, or there was something happening on the 15, or if you guys know, the I-15 north and south is let me just say, is notorious for shutdowns. There's constantly accidents, there's constantly wrecks, things happening, and if there are situations like that, you could be delayed, or you'll lose your clock, right? You'll lose your time, and you're gonna have to park and then just do a 10-hour reset. So in rare occasions that would happen, and if it did, I would be back the next day, like the following morning. But it was pretty much home daily. If everything goes, let's just say, in a perfect world, right? Perfect world of trucking. If everything went well, I was home daily, which is what I wanted. I wanted something where I was home daily or home weekly or home every other day. So yeah, I was on the port fleet, and they gave me a Kenworth right off the bat, right? I was happy because that's what I wanted. I've never driven a Kenworth before. What am I saying? I'm lying. I had a Kenworth that winter. I wanted a Kenworth, right? I wanted a KW. That's my truck. It's one of my favorite trucks to drive. I've driven Freightliners, I've driven Internationals, I've driven pretty much all the main trucks you can drive in this industry, and the Kenworth, I just like the way the interior looks, right? It just has a nice interior, and it drives smooth. So they gave me a Kenworth. I think it was like a 2023 Kenworth, and I posted that on my socials. Like, I did a little walkthrough and all that, so if you follow me, you can go look at those videos and what it looked like. Yeah, it was fine to an extent. It just was having issues after like month 1 or month 2, and it just had too many sensors. They had like all these sensors connected to it, which I was annoyed. If a car would cut me off, automatically beep 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 beep, it would always beep, and that thing was driving me nuts. But that's out of the point. I get it. They have to have those safety things on their trucks, so it is what it is. But that was like something that was annoying me for a while, and it was breaking down a lot. I was getting a lot of flats. I was getting a lot of flat tires, which is a lot. It was giving me issues, right? So they finally, after a while, swapped me out and gave me another truck, another Kenworth. That was better. So, but other than that truck assignment, it was fine. They gave me that. The next thing, and that was a dedicated route. They also, with night, they have other accounts, like they have, depending on where you are in the country. Some terminals have different dedicated accounts. Obviously for Vegas, that's one of the dedicated accounts they had, was the port one, but they didn't have too many dedicated accounts. And I would say that's something I did not like about night, because I'm gonna go over the good and the bad, right? So as we go through these lists of things that I'm talking about, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is something I liked, something I didn't like, right? They didn't have too many dedicated accounts, and I was not a fan of that. Obviously, I chose the port route because that was the one they had, like one of the only ones they had. So that's when I went. But yeah, they don't have too many options. So if you don't have a dedicated run, you're either doing regional or you're doing OTR, 15, Western states or all 48 states. I wasn't doing all that. I decided to just do the port run. But obviously, after a couple months of that, I got tired of ports. I think I did ports for 6 months, and after that, I switched to just regional, where I was just like 13 the Western states, right? Anything like pretty much left of the Mississippi River, and that's it. And then I did that for like another 6 months, and that was the rest of that's pretty much my year with night. Layover, breakdown, and breakdown pay. Okay. Whew. Where do I start with this? Okay, it's definitely a bad. I'm gonna say that. They're horrible. Overall, when it comes to pay, and I'm gonna talk about pay in general at the end. I gotta say the best for last. But layover and breakdown pay was horrible. I think if you were laid over at a customer or a receiver, if you know what, those of you guys are truckers, you know what layover. If you don't know what layover, ask your trainers, right? All right, I'll just say layover is when like you're pretty much at a receiver or a customer, and they got you there for more than a day, like 8 hours to a day. Like that's what I would say. That's what I call layover. So you're laid over somewhere, like you can't go anywhere. You're stuck there like a hostage, right? So in those type of situations, most companies pay you like a minimum, like, okay, between $100 and $200. I mean, that's what I've experienced. I've never had anything more than $200 when it comes to layover, unfortunately. But with Night, their layover was $100, straight up, just $100. If you were there for 8 hours or more. If you were there for less than 8 hours, it was less than that. It was like $50, which is ridiculous, right? You're pretty much not driving all day. Like you could be stuck at a receiver or customer, and then you're hostage there, right? And they just pay you $100 a day. So that's like worse than working at McDonald's. There's someone that works. I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about McDonald's, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like if you're working at a startup job, you're making more than that for working a day, right? So you would expect that as a trucker if you're laid over. Now they would pay you $100 for 8 hours or more. Anything less, you're getting $50 or less. So yeah, that was BS. Breakdown pay was the same thing. So if your truck was in the shop, it was like $100 a day or less. So yeah, it sucked. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Equipment was all okay. Like the trucks, like I said, the quality was alright. Like I said, with Night, I've had 2 trucks with them, and they were alright. The first one obviously wasn't that great. It was in the shop a lot. It was used. It went through it. But the second truck I had was decent. And they have good selection. So they give you a choice between Kenworths. They have Kenworths, Freightliners, and Internationals there. Actually, you know what? They even had Peterbilts at one point, but I didn't see those till like the end. At some terminals that I was at, my terminal didn't have too many Peterbilts. I think towards the end, like as I'm on my way out, I'm just gonna say because I'm on my way out right now, I saw some Peterbilts on the terminal. Actually, they even got the brand new Volvos, the brand new 2025 Volvos, which are sick looking. If you've seen those 2025 Volvos, they're nice. But they had those as well. So their equipment was decent. Just like I said, if you had an old truck, you're out of luck. Home time. They were good on home time. If I needed to be home, like I said, I was home. Like I said, on that dedicated run, I was home every day or every other day. On my regional route, I was always telling my dispatch that I wanted to be home. Like, if I wasn't home that weekend, at least get me home like that following Tuesday. And then, if I get home Tuesday, okay, get me back out and then have me home by next weekend. Like, it was just like a pattern of that. That's just how I like to run. I like to run 7 to 10 days. And then either be home that weekend. If I'm not home the following weekend, then have me home the following Tuesday. That was pretty much how I ran. Another good thing and that was a good thing, home time, right? So plus they got you home. They respect your home time, so they're not going to give you no BS about it. As long as you give them a good notice, talk to your dispatch and say, hey, right when you get on the truck, hey, I need to be home at this time. They're pretty good at getting you home on time. Obviously, there's situations where it's out of their control. You can't blame them. But it was rare for me to miss my home time. Anytime I wanted to be home, they got me home. So that was a plus. No forced dispatch. Okay. I'm not gonna talk shit about other companies that I was at, but I'm just gonna say one of my previous companies that I worked at, they forced dispatch, and I didn't like that. What's forced dispatch meaning? Like they send you a load, and you gotta go there. If you don't go there, yeah, there's bad things that happen. So with Night transportation, they're huge, and they talk about this in orientation, is they don't force dispatch. Now, it doesn't mean that because they don't force you, okay, how do I say this in a way where it's so there's no forced dispatch, right? But if they give you a load and you decide you don't want to do it, and they don't have another load for you, you're gonna sit, right? So that's on you. They're not gonna be upset. They're not gonna write you up. They're not gonna fire you. There's not gonna be any type of like disciplinary actions for not accepting the load, right? But if they don't have a load, like if you decide, okay, you don't want to go to Colorado, right? It's in the middle of winter time, in the Rockies, and they got a Colorado route, right? And who wants to go to Colorado when it snows? Nobody. I mean, I don't personally. If you say no, okay, they'll be like, all right, no problem. They'll go to the next driver. But then when it comes to loads, if there isn't any other loads for you, you're gonna sit. So that's how they roll. So they give you the first dibs at it, and they go to the next driver. But if you don't accept it and there's no other loads, you're gonna sit until there's a load available. But they won't force you to go anywhere you want to go. So that's a good thing. And I'm talking about as a company driver, right? Most companies, as a company driver, they force you to go. If they say, hey, that's where I want you to go, you gotta go. But here at Night Transportation, they're huge on no force dispatch. So that's a plus. So if you're looking to go to a company that's like that, Night Transportation might be your cup of tea. What else? I'm gonna say, let's just talk about pay, right? Because I'm already going like almost 20 minutes into this video. Pay was horrible, man. That's the one thing I cannot stand about Night, and that's why I'm on my way out of Night Transportation, unfortunately, is they do not pay enough money, at least for me. My lifestyle, how, you know, for my bills, for how I want to live, it doesn't work for me. It may work for somebody else that has less bills and whatever, because most of the guys that were here at this terminal that I worked at lived out of their trucks, actually. So, you know, they didn't have rent, they didn't have, like, you know, car notes and all these other things like I do. So maybe, you know, if you're getting paid, you know, $1,000 a week, that's enough for you. That's not enough for me. I need to be making at least $1,500 or more for it to make sense. If I'm not getting at least $1,500 or more, it don't make sense. And to get $1,500 was a struggle one night. I'm not gonna lie. I did OTR, I did regional. I mean, when I say OTR, there's times I went to the East Coast and back to see what I would be making, right? And the money wasn't there, unfortunately, for me. When I say the money wasn't there, that's the rate, like I just said the numbers I'm looking for, $1,500 or more. And I'm talking about after taxes, right? So that's where I'm at with them. And unfortunately, that's why I'm on my way out. Because, you know, I'm approaching 3 years of experience with trucking, and at this point, you know, I did all the, I went through the shit, you know, and I deserve now, I know what I'm worth now, right? And you know, pocket change, you know, pennies and stuff like that, anything that's like $900 or less, I'm not taking that, right? So that's just me personally. So yeah, pay, I'm gonna say, was a big negative, and it's actually the reason why I'm on my way out. Because if it wasn't for that, I would still be here at Night Transportation. If you're watching this Night, you guys need to pay your drivers. I'm sorry. You guys have great equipment. You guys have great terminals. Oh, that's one thing. Terminals. I didn't write this down on my notes. They got terminals everywhere, and that's one thing I could say about Night Transportation. I appreciate. If you guys know, when you're driving, you got to pre-trip and find out where you're going to stop, right? Especially if you're driving, you know, you got to look for truck parking at a certain time. If not, you're not going to have anywhere to park. I didn't have that issue with Night. Most cases, when I finished my shift, if I couldn't find parking at a truck stop, I would just look up on our app to see what local, like, you know, what nearby terminals were around, and there was always terminals. If there wasn't a Night terminal there was a Swift terminal. Why am I mentioning Swift? Swift and Night Transportation, if you guys don't know, give you guys a little bit of history lesson. They're sister companies. So we're allowed as Night drivers to park on Swift terminals. So my first thing I was looking for was a Night terminal. If I could see a Night terminal in the area, I would go there, and you got your card, your badge, you scan it at any of the terminals, they let you in, and you can park your truck right there. You don't got to worry about, you know, oh man, I'm gonna run out of time. I'm not gonna be able to find a trucking spot after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at a truck stop. You know that feeling when you're running out of time. Yeah, you guys already know. Most cases, I would run my clock all the way because I knew, okay, there's a terminal right there, so I don't got to worry about it. Even if it's after 8 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever, I'll find parking. And that was a great thing I loved. All over, especially when I did the OTR, they had them everywhere. Some states had multiple terminals, actually, like Texas, and I forget, there was another state that had like multiple terminals. So that's a plus. They got a lot of terminals. So if you need to shower, if you need to find parking, if you end up at the Arizona terminal that you just saw in the beginning of this video, you can go play some basketball, shoot some hoops, and you know, play some video games, whatever it is, whatever you like. Be comfortable. They had good terminals. That's one thing I would say. So yeah, they may not pay their drivers enough money or what I'm trying to get paid, but they have great terminals. So that was a plus. Where was I going with that? But yeah, the pay sucks. I'm sorry, the pay sucks. And so I mean, I don't want to keep emphasizing on it, but I mean, if you're just starting up in the industry, then it might be for you. If $900 or $1,000 a week is enough to pay your bills and your lifestyle, and you're comfortable with that because you don't have too many expenses, hey, then Night's perfect for you. It just wasn't for me. You know, I mean, I think my biggest check, I was driving on recaps, full, like, you know, I drove past over 70 hours and all that. After tax, I barely took home $1,200, which is crazy to me. So after that kind of gave me like a wake up call to start looking elsewhere. So yeah, I'm in talks right now with other companies. Actually, maybe if you guys are watching this video, I've probably already found a company. Wink, wink. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I had to exit stage left. But overall, if I was to give a rating to Night Transportation, I would say an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10. They're a decent company to work for. I'm not trying to, bash them on overall. Like I said, the pay is a huge factor, but overall, they're a good company to work for. So if you're looking for a company to start off with, and you're trying to get your experience, Night Transportation is definitely a company to work for. They will take care of you. They'll be very lenient when it comes to mistakes because they're a mega carrier, so you can make all your mistakes you want when you're just coming out of trucking school and still get decent pay. And they'll have loads for you. That's all. Another thing, they have loads. Yeah, you're not gonna be sitting a lot unless, like I said, it's depending on where you're at, what state. But they share loads with Swift, so obviously Swift at Night, since they're sister companies, they got loads. So you'll always have somewhere to go. The question is, do you want to go in that direction or whatever? But that's up to you. Like, you can say yes or no to loads because there's no forced dispatch, like I said earlier. But yeah, they have loads. Overall, yeah, my rating would be an 8 out of 10, which is pretty decent. Like I said, for a company that, it's hard for me to say. There's no perfect company out there, but like I said, yeah, overall they're a decent company. If they could just work on the pay, I would say they would be a really good company. But they're not that great when it comes to pay, unfortunately. They pay their drivers that have been there longer, right? If you've been there 5+ years, they pay those drivers decent, from what I saw. But if you're there for the first couple of years, they're paying you pennies, unfortunately, and it sucks. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go check in to see if they're ready to unload me, because they haven't hit me up yet. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's probably long as it is. But yeah, that was my experience in Night Transportation. If you're looking to work for, if you're trying to get some information about the company and see if they're decent, hopefully this video benefits you. And I will be giving, my next videos will be about where I'm going next and more. But I appreciate you guys, like I always said in all my videos. I really appreciate all the love. The YouTube channel is growing slowly, and slow growth is better than no growth. So I really appreciate all the new subscribers and followers and everybody that hits the notification bell, all that good stuff, because it shows, like I said, you care. It shows that you appreciate the content that I post. And also the hate, I appreciate the hate, the comments, all that good stuff, because that means you're watching. So that means I'm doing my job. So if I don't see you guys on the next video, stay blessed.